Do y'all remember a show called To Catch a Predator? It was on NBC, early 2000s maybe. It had a host, Chris Hansen, and they would set up an online predator sting. They'd have decoys, and they'd lure these guys to this sting house. And these guys would come in expecting to meet with an underage person, and Chris Hansen will walk out, usually say something really funny or sarcastic, and then they know they were busted. But it's always fascinating to watch. For me, I'm fascinated with how many disgusting men come out of the woodworks every time they set up in a new city. I mean, immediately. Some of them coming from hundreds of miles away. It fizzled out. I think toward the end, one of the unfortunate participants on that show ended up committing suicide as they actually went to the person's residence. Maybe because the person didn't come to the sting house, but they felt like they had enough to confront them at their own location. And before Chris Hansen and the TV crew can get in there, he killed himself. So I think that really ended it, or was the nail in the coffin. I think the other things that may have contributed to that show's demise was the fact that there is sort of a gray area there legally about entrapment, which I can see that argument, you know. But sometimes these guys do get charged. But at the end of the day, it wasn't a 13-year-old on the other end. It was a decoy, you know. So, you know, you could argue back and forth on that. But the more they read the chat logs and what these guys have said to the decoy, the less you feel sorry for them. But I guess, don't fuck with the kids. Or what you thought was a kid. It shows a propensity to actually go through with it or have gone through with it in the past. So I think it's sad. It's sad that the family members of the person who is on these shows like To Catch a Predator is devastating. I can only imagine, because a lot of these guys are not habitual offenders, or not even on a sex registry, or even had a case against them regarding lewd contact with minors. So it's a complete shock to their families. Now, To Catch a Predator didn't really get into that very much. However, I'm going to call them new school To Catch a Predator shows on YouTube, where it's almost renegade. It's a guy with an iPhone or gal with an iPhone, and they are just ruthless, man. They'll give them Sophie's choice and what they call a need for accountability, and tell them to call their wife or a family member, or they'll call the police. And more times than not, they'll actually do it. And it's all on video. Sometimes live streamed. There's a couple of them I'm going to point out that I've watched and I'm fascinated with. One of them is this guy called Skeet Hansen. And Skeet Hansen does emulate Chris Hansen, but he puts his own spin on it. My favorite part is at the end of it, he'll say, "I'm Skeet Hansen and you've been skeeted." He'll lure him to a Walmart or a Target, and then he'll go in and he'll just, on the spot, just completely turn these guys' world upside down in a public place. And he does it in his own style. So Skeet Hansen's one. There's another guy, Thomas Fellows of Colorado Ped Patrol. And He does the same thing. Decoys, chat logs. But his style is a little bit more straightforward. No, not many jokes, if any. It is very raw, get right into it. Real direct, you know. I like his style. I like when sometimes these guys will get a little mouthy and he'll immediately like put his foot down and become the alpha in the situation. And I like when he does that. He also has this camera guy. I don't know his name off the top of my head, but I love when he chimes in. And if he chimes in, it's a really disgusting situation. And I do like that. So Colorado Pet Patrol, Thomas Fellows is a good one. The other one goes by the name Gordon Flowers. He's this big burly dude, very sarcastic, very snarky. So he, what his style is, he tries to become like really friendly with the catch, try to gain their trust, and he's really charming at first. I'm your friend. I'm just seeing what's going on. He's got a catch. He's got a catchphrase. I don't think he did it on purpose, but it naturally came out. He goes, "Cool, cool." And his catches are a lot longer than the other twos I mentioned, but his is very methodical approach to slowly making them just break down, kind of like an interrogation. I mean, he usually wears them down and he won't go away. He'll just won't go away, and he'll ambush them like at their jobs or at their house. So those three, you got Skeet Hansen, you got Thomas Fellows with Colorado Pet Patrol, and then you got Gordon Flowers. They all have the same thing. You can talk to me or I can call police, but at the end they all call police. But yeah, if you like To Catch a Predator, these are everything about that times 5. And they have no regard for the predator, man. And they'll get as much information out of them as they can. And often they make them look really stupid. They all say the same thing. It's my first time. Every single one of them. A lot of them go to the excuse that they were going to mentor the child and was just showing them how they can get trapped into a situation, which is just ludicrous. The immediate response is, what do you think their parents would think? But you sexted them, you sent them pictures of your genitals, you immediately started getting into explicit material with them. And some of these guys do possess CP, which is a felony. So these stings get the worst of the worst at times. With recent true crime cases such as Delphi, catfishing resulted in the death of those 2 young girls. So it's a really dangerous thing, you know. It's more than just perverts coming out and getting busted. You know, it's real potential for kidnapping, you know. If y'all watch those shows, let me know what you think. And please like and subscribe.